I cannot for the life of me figure out why 1 a.m. is the prime time for me to record. It's probably because I watch BL at night because, I don't know, just watching it during the day doesn't seem right. But I guess if it's wrong, then I don't want to be right. Welcome to Blush the Podcast. With so many new BL series coming out, who has time to watch them all? But don't worry, I got you. I'm your host, Ray. Every week, I'll be providing episode summaries and commentary on old and new series for the busy BL girl. And at the end of each series, I'll give a rating too, to help keep that watch list slim. I'll also give updates on news like upcoming series, ships, and whatever else pops up. Let's get into it. I cannot believe that it's already the middle of the week. I feel like time is just flying by, and it's just missing me. Time is going and I feel like I'm not getting anything done. But anyway, I hope everyone is having a great week so far. I'm happy to be here again to talk about my favorite thing with y'all. So I don't know how many people are racing fans, car racing, right? But this past Sunday was the Hungarian Grand Prix for the F1 series for 2024. So they were, I think, racing in Budapest. And I was at a restaurant and it happened to be playing on the TV. One of my life goals is to be able to attend an F1 race in person. So I was super excited to be watching this race. Because it's the first time that I've been somewhere where it was broadcasting. But I bring this up because you guys are probably what the fuck does this have to do with BL? I bring this up because as I was watching the race, all I could think about was Pit Babe. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, should I go home and watch Pit Babe again? Is this the time that I'm gonna rewatch Pit Babe? Just fuck the rest of the plan that I had for this podcast and just scrap it the next series and just watch Pit Babe again so I could talk about it. I think at that point I realized that I'm too far gone, right? Because why am I watching an F1 race and all I can think about is Babe and Charlie getting it on, getting it in the locker room. But it's okay. I love it. I'm obsessed with Pavel. I just love him. I was not really following any BL actors when I first started watching BL a year or two ago, or start watching BL dramas. I've been watching and reading BL for a long time, but watching Thai BLs a year or two ago. And Pavel is the second actor that I followed, and I follow him so closely. I love everything that he posts. I'm obsessed. I'm a Pavel fangirl. With that being said, I'm super excited for the second installment of Pit Babe. I don't know where they're going to take the story, and I'm also pretty excited for Goddess Bless You from Death. Now, I am probably going to be terrified because I do not like thrillers, or I don't like horror thrillers. I like psychological thrillers, but I do not like jump scares, ghost type things like that. And that's what it looks like is going to happen, but whatever. I'm here for Pooh and I'm here for Pavel, mostly Pavel, but I'm here for both of them, and I'm excited to see all of the works that they're going to be doing together in the future. All right, moving on to another actor that I am pretty obsessed with, even though I don't think he's an actor anymore because he technically quit, but James Soo. So this week, James Soo was in a music video. I do not know the Thai name of the song, but I believe it's called Disposable, and please don't kill me. I think her name is BENZKHAOKHWAN. I think that's her name. And James is the leading guy in the video. He looks so good. And the song is really good too. Her voice is so sweet. And go check it out. Go look at my boy James. He has so many good outfits. And like I said before, I'm a supporter of dreams. Okay. And he is making it happen. So he's been in the practice room and he's doing better, and look, he's in the little spotlight. So kudos to James. I'm gonna be here when his song comes out, and hopefully I will be somewhere in that hemisphere of the world so I can attend any concerts or fan meets that he has. One more thing I wanted to talk about was the Khemjira trailer, but I feel like I'm going on and on and on. So I just want to tell you guys to watch it if you haven't already seen it. I would have to say this is probably one of the series I'm most excited to see. So I'm going to talk about that next episode, okay? I'm going to talk about that next episode. But go watch it. Go watch it and be ready for Saturday, okay? All right. So that was a lot about Thai BL. I feel like I could talk about Thai BL forever and never run out of stuff to talk to. But as you know, that is not the only place where BL exists. So this week on the internet, I came across some clips from a BL anime that just came out. So, I had to figure out what this was called because there were some pretty racy clips, okay? I think one of the tweets I saw was like, it's the first day that they met and they're already smashing. So I had to look it up. The anime is called Twilight Out of Focus and it is based on a manga. It says the synopsis in short is it's a story about a boys school film club, and Mao and Hisashi are the main characters, and so I'm guessing that's who I saw in the clip on Twitter, and they're paired together for a project where they make promises and they get close in the process of the project. I think there are some additional couples as well, so go check that one out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it, but it looks like it's available on CrunchyRoll. I'll probably get around to it eventually. I have not watched a BL anime since Sasaki and Miyano. That one holds a special place in my heart. It's so good. It's so good. And I haven't seen the movie yet, so that'll probably be the next BL anime piece of media that I watch. But I don't watch it a lot, and I can tell you how probably the last one I saw was Gravitation. Just aged myself right there. But Twilight Out of Focus, if you're into BL anime, go take a look on Crunchyroll, watch it, and let me know. Send me a message if it's really good and if you want to hear an episode on it. Speaking of messages, a shameless plug for our social media. If email is too old school for you, I do have a Twitter account. It is at Blushed Podcast. You can send me DMs there with recommendations or like comments or whatever. Just shoot me a DM. Now, I am not that good at social media, so don't judge me when you see how few tweets there are. But yeah, follow me there. Okay. That's enough of me talking. Shall we get into episode 6 of We Are? As usual, if you are interested in the commentary, you can skip ahead to 33 minutes and 15 seconds and it starts right around there. Shall we start with our quick reminder of episode 5? You know the routine. If you want to hear my full summary and commentary, hop back over to the previous episode. Tan and Fong are officially dating. Thank God. I was suffering and I'm so happy to see them together. Q and Toy shared some cute moments together. I don't know how many more cute moments we'll need before we have an actual spark. And lastly, Phum and Peem go on what looks like their first date to the festival, and they share their first kiss. And that's where we begin episode 6. Alright, so we're starting episode 6 off in the middle of this very deep kiss with Phum and Peem outside of the fine arts faculty. They're really going at it, and I love that for them. I hate the ambiguity in their relationship, but I love that we're making some progress. I'm also shocked, like I think I mentioned in the last episode, that Peem is the person that initiated this kiss. I guess I would have thought it was Phum, but my intuition was wrong. And Peem initiates this kiss. He also ends it. He just pulls away very awkwardly and he's like, okay, bye, and just runs off, but doubles back to take the stuffed animal, like the stuffed buffalo that Phum won for him at the fair. Once he makes it inside the fine arts building, he smiles to himself and is like punching the air, which is so stinking adorable. And Phum is also cheesing really hard outside. The next day in the art studio, Peem is chatting with Q about having to burn the midnight oil, quote unquote. They say this a lot when they have to work late on their assignments. Again. And, they're just having some chat back and forth. And suddenly Q asks Peem where was he last night because Toy dragged him around to float the lantern. So where were you? This triggers a flashback for Peem to the night before where he was swapping spit with Phum outside the faculty. And he remembers an instant regret washes over him. Like instant. Like, what the fuck did I do? As Peem is panicking, Q's like, what is wrong with you? So Peem starts asking Q about his dating experience and do couples show affection to each other, and he makes this face kind of indicating kissing, and Q's like, do couples kiss? Yeah, they kiss. Phum asks what if they aren't officially dating? What does that mean? So Q asked if he kissed someone while he was drunk. Pim's like, no, I wasn't drunk. Q's like, you kissed a random person? He's like, no, I didn't kiss a random person. Q is like, do not lie to me. Tell me what is going on. And Pim was like, it's not a random person and the relationship is still complicated, so I can't really explain it. My boy Q is like, clear it up. Make it crystal clear. Tell me what's happening. Pim goes on to say how it's complicated, their first meeting wasn't pleasant, and it's confusing. Q says, ask yourself first. Q says, answer this question first. Do you like him? Pim's like, what the fuck kind of question is that? And Q's like, okay, let's start there. You have to figure out whether or not you like him before you can clear up whatever mess you've gotten yourself into. Today also turns out to be the day of the art gallery hosted by the fine arts faculty, where Q's work is going to be displayed and where Pim's work was supposed to be displayed had it not got destroyed, which kicked off this entire series. Chain and Pun, we have a brief moment with them trying to go buy flowers to congratulate Q on having his artwork hung in the gallery. However, Pun makes that more difficult than it probably should be. Then we switch over to Tan and Phong walking up to Phum, Beer, and Mick in the canteen with a bouquet of flowers. Beer asks, what are the flowers for? Valid question, and we stand a reasonable king. And Tan says, it's for the fine art student gallery today. Q's work is displayed, so of course I have to get him a bouquet of flowers to congratulate him. Oh, is this the one that Phong mentioned before? Yeah, as this conversation is happening, you can see the gears spinning in Phum's head. And he's like, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity. So when Phong says, yeah, that's the gallery I mentioned before, do you guys want to come? Phum immediately, quick, fast, and in a hurry, is like, absolutely, packs up his stuff and starts standing up. And Beard's like, why are you in such a hurry? As the squad pulls up to the art gallery, Phum immediately, when I say immediately, I mean immediately, spots Pim walking around alone and quickly says that he's going to go walk around and take pictures to his friends so he can break off from the group. Now, mind you, Phum has not seen Pim since the night before when they kissed outside of the fine arts faculty. Phum walks up to Pim and takes a picture of him, like a candid photo, and Pim sees him and immediately turns around like, fuck, I was not trying to see this man. So Phum asks, are you avoiding me? Pim's like, no, I'm not avoiding you. I just had to sneeze, so I turned around so I wouldn't sneeze in your face. Bro is such a bad liar. Such a bad liar. Pim asked Phum if he's interested in art, like, why is someone like you here? And he said that he came with Tan and points to where Tan and friends are. Pim asked Phum what he thinks of the artwork that he's seeing in the gallery, and Phum says they're all very impressive. And I mean, I probably would have done this too. I don't know if Pim did it to be petty, but I would have done it to be petty. But he says that his artwork would have been displayed there had Phum not kicked it that day. And Phum looks like a sad puppy and he's trying to, say something or I guess explain himself or apologize again. And Pim's like, no, I'm gonna go see what Tan is doing, and runs off. They catch up with the rest of the group and everyone is giving their congratulations to Q on his artwork being displayed. And then they leave. They're like, okay, bye, we're all going. And Pim turns around to see Phum still standing there. Why didn't you leave with your friends? What are you doing here? And Phum says he wants to keep looking around the gallery. He didn't get a proper look and asked Pim to show him around. Pim agrees to show him around the gallery, but he's a little awkward and confused as why Phum is acting as if nothing happened. He's walking, throughout this, he's walking in front of Phum looking really sad and dejected, but Phum is walking behind him taking candid photos and smiling and giggling to himself. Phum is kicking feet and Pim is over here thinking that he doesn't think anything of it. Ugh. Moving on from one frustrating couple to the next, we have Q and Toy. Toy shows up late to the gallery after everyone, I guess, has already left, and he goes to Q's work and he leaves a sticky note for Q, basically complimenting his work. Which, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is my second time watching this episode. I watched them multiple times for this content, but this is my second time watching this episode, and this is a clue. Oh my god, I didn't know it was a clue. The sticky note is a clue. Keep that in mind. Keep it in mind for later. But He leaves a sticky note and walks away. Q walks up to the art and he sees a sticky note complimenting his work, and he looks a little confused at first and then cracks this huge smile while he's staring at the sticky note. Toy walks up and sees him staring at the note that he left, like in a daze, and he also starts smiling. Just things that you don't realize if you only watch through once. But this is a long series, so I wouldn't recommend watching it like every episode multiple times. Unless you really love it and it's a comfort drama for you, then do what you want. Toy directly compliments Q on his work, telling him, oh my god, like, has your work become more beautiful since the last time I saw it? But anyway, Q's like, okay. And he asks if he can treat Toy to some dessert, which Toy was confused by. Previously, Toy had said that Q doesn't take care of him at all as a mentor, and I think Q really took that to heart, and so that's why he's offering to take him to go get dessert, because like he doesn't want to be a bad mentor. Lo and behold, Q only knows one cafe, or this is his favorite cafe, and he takes Toy to the cafe that they both used to frequent when they were in high school. But if you recall, Q doesn't know Toy from that time, but Toy knows Q. So Toy is super reluctant to go in the cafe, thinking that he's gonna get exposed. They go up to the counter, and the shop owner's like, oh, Q, Toy, why did you guys come together? And Toy is like, bro, please, he's like looking at, like, pleading with his eyes, like, don't expose me. And the shop owner is like, oh, you obviously go to the same university, it makes sense. And Q's like, oh, you know Toy? The shop owner is like, yeah, very confused, but I don't know if he knows that he should be covering, but he just says, do you think you're the only fine art student that knows this cafe? And continues by saying that Toy is a regular there. Q orders a milk frappe, and Toy says that he also wants a milk frappe. More clues. Oh my god. So they both order the milk frappe, and then Q pays, and the shop owner pokes a little fun at him, but he ends it by looking at Toy and saying, what a small world. So this leads me to believe that Toy either confided in the shop owner that he liked Q, or he was smart enough to put two and two together back when they were in high school. Once they get their drinks and they sit down, Q asks Toy if he was a regular there, why have they never met before? Toy is quick on his feet and says that we probably came on different days and different times. Like, it's not a coincidence that we didn't run into each other. As they're having this conversation, they're both like looking at the corner where Q used to sit and paint, like reminiscing, I guess, about the memories from high school. Toy asks Q why did he bring him to that cafe in particular, and Q just says because it's cheap and he knows the owner and he can pay later if he doesn't have any money, so I guess it wasn't that deep for him. But then Q returns a question by asking Toy why did he frequent this cafe, like why is he a regular customer there? And Toy says it's because that's where he got to know a certain person. We all know who that person is. It's Q, but Q doesn't know. More like missed signals, miscommunication, lack of communication, whatever you want to call it. A BL drama is not a BL drama if there's not some miscommunication or lack thereof. After Toy answered this question, Q kind of has like a weird look on his face, and he gets a little grumpy, and he's like, just hurry up and drink your drink before it melts. But he was the one that was distracted. Like, Toy had already been drinking his frappe, and Q hadn't even started. The cafe must be really close to the university, because we cut back over to the festival, and Phum and Peem are still together. They're done looking at the art in the art gallery, but there are other tables available for you to do activities, and so Phum asked Peem if they can paint a ceramic like cup. This happens to be Phi's table. If you remember her, she is Peem and Q's friend from the fine arts faculty. And Peem asks Phi if she's still open. Can they get a cup? Can they paint? All that stuff. And she's like, yeah, of course. But he says it's for his friend, and she's like, friend. I love that they're surrounded by so many shippers. Like, because I'm literally them. I'm literally Phi. I'm literally Toy. I am them. And I also would be messy. So she gives them the cup, and Peem tries to give it to Phum and says, I'm leaving. But Phum says, well, we're already here together. Can't you just stay and do it with me? Nah. Like, I understand in the dramas why that gets people, because it'd probably get me too. And Peem Pim folds. He decides to stay. They stay and paint the cup. Well, really, Phum paints the cup and Pim just keeps him company. While this is happening, Phum is laying it on thick. He makes too many little, like, flirtatious remarks for me to keep track, so I won't say them here. I'll let you guys go see it for yourself. Once they finish painting the cup, Pim tries to leave again, but Phum offers to give him a ride home. Very on brand at this point. Once they get to Pim's house, Phum asks if Pim has any semester break plans, and Pim's like, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. And Phum's like, oh, okay, so you don't have any plans. Pim assumes that Phum just wants him to come work for him, and he's like, oh, you enjoy doing whatever you want. And Phum says, so do you, because the other night. And as he's making the statement, Phum cuts him off and it's like, I gotta go. And he runs in the house and doesn't let Phum finish his statement. Pim then proceeds to go to his room and have a mental breakdown, like just punching the buffalo, like the stuffed animal that he got from Phum at the festival, and screaming about buffaloes. So the semester is over, and what better way to celebrate than our favorite pastime in this show, getting drunk at Pim's house. So the party consists of our usual suspects, the high school friends, and Toy and Matt. Pun suggests that they play a game and they end up playing King's Cup. In the second round, when Q is the king, he commands number 1 to kiss number 2 on the forehead. Chain is number 1, and this wouldn't make any sense if Pun wasn't number 2. We finally get some chain pun crumbs. In a kind of poetic twist of fate, in the next round, Pun pulls the king. He commands number 2 and number 6 to kiss each other on the cheek. And lucky for us, number 6 is Q and number 2 is Toy. It's about time something like forced these two to be closer, but this unfortunately was not the event to do so. Toy begs Pun to change the punishment to something else, and Pun, being the natural comedian he is, changes it from kissing each other 1 time on the cheek to kissing each other 3 times on the cheek. So basically they just have to grit their teeth and make it work, and they both kiss each other 3 times on the cheek. And all of the friends are just like excited and cheering in the background. After they finished performing their punishment, Pun jokes that they're not done. There's still more to go. And Q starts complaining that they finished. Matt is looking at Toy like, are you okay? Like, he's giving him the eyes, making sure he's okay. Because Toy looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Luckily, everyone suddenly decides that they're bored with this game, so they're wrapping it up. I'm guessing they just kept drinking as usual because everyone fell asleep, and not a lot happened while they were sleeping, except for like Pim was sleeping between Q and Toy, but he got up because Matt asked for a blanket, and like Matt, I don't know if he did this subconsciously or like unconsciously, like he's asleep, or he did it on purpose, but he started moving closer to Q, which pushed Q closer to Toy to fill in the space that Pim left to go get the blanket, and then Pim just got back on the end. So Q was next to Toy, and then he like put the blanket on him and kind of smiled, and they both smiled. So the next morning, we're in the kitchen, like everybody's congregating. Conveniently, Q is still asleep, but everybody else is awake, and we're back with the untoasted slice of bread. I really need somebody to explain this to me, because I cannot just eat a plain piece of bread with like no butter or jam or something. Like, someone please help. So Matt started saying, wow, Toy, like, are you okay after drinking? Nothing probably would get your heart racing like that game did last night. Everyone else is like, what are you talking about? What game? And Matt says Pun's game. Well, why would Pun's game make his heart beat? Like, why would it make his heart race out of his chest? Toy is trying to stop Matt. He's trying to stop Matt. He's like, Matt, shut the fuck up. This does not stop Matt. Matt just blurts out, because Toy likes Q. Everyone gasp in disbelief. This is not real life. When Toy is like, Matt just passes out. He pretends to be like passed out. Like, bro, we're all looking at you. You just told your best friend's secret. Like, you cannot just close your eyes and play dead. This is the most chaotic group of friends ever. Right as they're having this discussion, Q shows up. Like, what is there to eat for breakfast? What are you guys all talking about? Everyone immediately starts panicking. Toy is standing there. He has like a glass of water. His hands are like trembling, and Matt's freaking out. Everybody is losing it. And Q's like, what are y'all talking about? And Pun, the dumb ass, was about to say it, but Chain stuffed a piece of bread in his mouth to stop him from saying it. And Pim quickly puts Q out of the kitchen. He's like, go take a shower. You just woke up. Go take a shower. Get the fuck out. Like, go. Man, that was a lot. Matt is no good. When they all sit down after they got Q away, and I guess they're trying to assess the situation, he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, it slipped out. It did not slip out. Like, Toy asked you not to say it, and when Pim asked, you just said it. That wasn't a slip up. You just outed your friend. If Matt was my best friend, I would tell him to count his fucking days. Tan asked Toy how he felt for Q because every time they see each other, they're always arguing. So this is kind of a long story, so I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. So basically, back to the time in high school that they were always reminiscing about. For Toy, this was a time when he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and he would see Q come to the cafe and paint all the time, and he felt happy and inspired by seeing someone who did know what they wanted to do, someone doing something that they really enjoyed. So he liked coming to the cafe and watching Q draw from a distance. One day, Toy was trying to take his usual milk frappe to the table, and he tripped and fell and made a huge mess in the cafe. And while he was trying to help the shop owner clean it up, he found something that had fell down on the side of the couch, and it was a pencil box. The cafe owner is like, oh, great, that's like the person that is normally here drawing. It belongs to him. He's been looking for it, so I'm glad you found it. And Toy asked the shop owner to give it to Q, and that's the end of that. The next day, the shop owner comes to Toy and was like, hey, I gave the pencil box to my junior and he wanted to thank you by giving you this drawing, and he gives it to Toy. Toy's very happy to receive this drawing, and he wants to thank Q for the drawing, and he asked if he's going to come to the shop that day. The shop owner says of course, he comes to the shop every day. Toy asked the shop owner to thank Q on his behalf, and the shop owner says he's not the postman, he's not going to do it, and you should thank him yourself. Toy comes up with this bright idea to leave a sticky note with a thank you message on the back of one of the paintings and asks the shop owner to let Q know that it was there. So from there, they start an exchange of the sticky notes back and forth. Toy is signing his Milk Frappe Boy, and Q is signing his Pencil Senior. So over a long period of time, they start talking back and forth between Pencil Senior and Milk Frappe Boy, and they never meet in person. Bruh, I messed it up. I mean, I didn't. All the stuff I said was true, but apparently Toy did not know that Pencil Senior and Q were the same person until a year later when somebody mentioned it, that all the paintings belonged to Q and like he was there watering the plants. But at this point, Toy had stopped receiving sticky notes from Pencil Senior and he did not know what happened to him. But essentially through this whole ordeal, Toy became inspired to study art, so he found like his passion, so to speak, and he also fell in love with Q/Pencil Senior over the year that they were talking to each other through the sticky notes, which, to be honest, is pretty cool. I mean, to fall in love with someone that you've never seen before, like you only know their personality through sticky notes, that's very romantic, so I commend them for that, but I personally could not do it. It's just, that was like too much of a commitment. So Toy wraps up his story, and the gang is like, dang, that's a pretty intense story, which it is, and they're like, how do you endure it, seeing your crush every day, not being able to say anything? Toy pretty much says that he's happy with the relationship that they have, and he's just glad to be able to be around Q and for them to have the friendly relationship that they have. So he's saying he's okay with one-sided love, which is really sad because no one is ever okay with one-sided love. At some point, it's never enough. I mentioned the sticky note at the gallery being a clue/foreshadowing. This is it. This is the story with the sticky notes. But just keep in mind, we've only gotten one side of the story. We've heard Toy's side, but we haven't heard Q's side. Wonder how he feels about it. Everyone tries to encourage Toy to confess his feelings to Q just to see where it goes. Like, you never know if you don't try. At this point, I'm sure we could count on it, but Pun chimes in saying that he has a plan. As soon as he finishes that sentence, Q walks through the door, asking what they're talking about again. Pun and Chain pretend to faint on the couch. The fake fainting is just, it just sends me every time I see it because that is just so ridiculous. And like, how do you think no one's gonna question why you just decided to like pass out or pretend to like be asleep when you're just sitting up talking like 2 seconds ago? Fast forward sometime in the future. I don't think it's the next day because they look too well. Like, they don't look hungover, so I'm gonna say it's a couple days later. Pim and Q are at the park to draw. Now, mind you, it's still semester break, so Q's asking, why do you want to go to the park to draw? And Pim says it's to maintain his skills even while he's on break. What a diligent student. As they're walking, Pim gets a phone call, and you can guess who it is. It's Phum. asking where he is, and he says, drop a pin, I'm gonna be there. Him and Q find somewhere to sit by the water so they can start drawing, when suddenly we hear Pim's name in the background, and it is Toy. So they turn around and they see Toy and Chain walking towards them. Pim says that he told Toy that they were going to be there because he wanted to draw in that setting for a while, so he just went ahead and invited him. Q asks, why did Chain come with Toy? And Pim says, oh, you didn't know? Chain and Toy are in the talking stage right now. Q is dumbfounded. He's in disbelief. How are they in the talking stage? When did this happen? Like, you could see on his face, like, 100 questions racing in his mind. So this is the plan. This is the bright idea that Pun came up with. Have someone pretend to flirt with Toy to get a rise out of Q. And they pick Chain to be the person to flirt with Toy. It seems to be working a little bit. I mean, Q seems annoyed when he sees them, but he doesn't really say anything, and then he just gets up and leaves. So there is a little bit of reaction on his part, but like I've mentioned multiple times before, he's pretty hard to read and doesn't really show like a lot of emotion. So I think this is going to be a very long, drawn out plan. Also, men are so messy. They have a group chat with all of them in it, excluding Q, to talk about the progress of the plan, and Pim immediately reports back as soon as Q gets up and leaves. Right on schedule, Phum shows up and sits down next to Pim. This is actually a really good fit on Phum, or Pond. I mean, they're the same person, but I think it's a good outfit. It looks really good on him. Anyways, so Phum sits down next to Pim and starts asking him how long he's been drawing and just chatting him up, and he suddenly asks if he finished the painting, the infamous painting, the one that got damaged back in episode 1. Pim has a quick flashback to show us that he did in fact finish the painting. The painting is done. But do you know what he tells Phum? Do you know what he says? Of course you do, because we're not stupid. You can figure it out. He told him no. He told him no because he still wants to hang out with him. Upon hearing that the painting is not finished, Phum cracks a smile and puts his arm around Pim and says that they're going to be together for a little while longer. Pim, having the snarky personality that he has, says that he's going to wrap it up soon. At this point, he's remembering Q's words of figuring out his feelings before he talks to Phum. And internally, he's asking himself, has he developed feelings for this man? When they were painting the ceramic cup, Pim was going to bring up the kiss that they had in front of the fine arts building, but he trailed off and said, never mind. Phum brings that up right now, and he says, do you remember while we were painting what you were going to say to me? Pim just stares at him and doesn't say anything. Phum looks him dead in the eye and says, I will never forget your kiss, and leans in and kisses him. And when he's done, do you know what he said? Do you know what he said? He said, so you mustn't forget mine either. Got almost through my desk. I really did. If I had enough strength, I probably would have. Like, I'm dizzy. That was too much. It was too much for me. And because GMMTV wants to test the strength of my heart, that is the end of the episode. Huh. I feel like I've been saying this for the past few episodes, but that was a lot. That was a lot. This episode was very like Q and Toy heavy, so I'm going to start kind of backwards. I'm going to start with Pim and Phum. 2 kisses in, and we are still not clear about what kind of relationship they have. Like, we, the audience, know that they like each other. They don't know that they like each other. How frustrating. How frustrating. Also, I think it's very interesting. I learned this like a cultural aspect that like there's no ambiguity, right? Like, you're not dating unless someone is like, hey, date me, and you say yes in Thailand. So that is different from here in the US, I guess. But it's actually really cool though. But in this drama, it's frustrating because I feel like we're well on our way to doing activities like Phum and Pim are that could be considered couple activities, and they are not a couple, nor have they discussed their feelings at all. I don't really know what else to say about them other than I'm excited, but I'm also frustrated. And I'm also a little bit tired of like Phum making my heart skip a beat with all of his like flirtatious and like romantic lines. Like, I feel like I'm in the drama. Okay. And maybe that's a good thing. That's just good acting on his part. But I really hope that there's some progress in their relationship soon. Like, if it's not in episode 7, it better be in episode 8, because I don't know how much more I can take with this couple. Wait, before I move on, their little, like, slave contract thing hasn't really been mentioned in a while. Well, I guess he kind of did bring it up when he asked if the painting, when Phum asked if the painting was finished, but other than that, I feel like they haven't talked about it in a hot minute. Now on to the main event, that is Q and Toy. We finally get this clarification on where Toy's feelings for Q come from. And it's like a cute story, but it's also kind of like a sad story. Like, imagine going to your favorite cafe and being in a one-sided love with someone who you apparently don't even know what they look like. Like, not only have you never spoke to them, you don't even know what they look like. And just having those feelings and not being able to express them. Like, part of me is really sad for Toy. But at the same time, why won't he tell Q? Why won't he tell Q? He sees him every day. He could just be like, hey, I like you. You know, that just makes too much sense, right? I guess that just makes too much sense. Because then we wouldn't have a show. Also, you can tell that, like, the Milk Frappe Pencil Senior story aside, you can tell that Q feels something for Toy, like something more than just being his mentor, and he won't say anything or won't acknowledge those feelings, which is really strange. It's very strange. The fact that his friends have to come up with a plan to trick him into realizing that he likes Toy is very juvenile. They're sophomores in college, you know? I would hope that they would be a little bit more mature than this, but I guess not. And how did Pun even think to come up with a plan like this? Like, who just thinks like, oh, let's, you know, just scheme and trick our friend by making our other friend pretend to chase his man? Like, that, I would have never thought of that for my friends. Just never would have crossed my mind. And speaking of friends, like I said before, Matt could count his days, because how is he just going to out Toy like that? Just no hesitation, just outing his friends unrequited love to the entire friend group. That was foul. That was really foul on Matt's part. And he apologized, but I feel like he wasn't really sorry. All of that aside, given all the revelations that we've gotten in this episode about the connection between Q and Toy, I wonder if we're well on our way to our second couple. Because Tan and Fong are officially a couple. We didn't get anything on them in this episode, so I don't know how their relationship has progressed other than them agreeing to date. But given that Phum and Peem are just kissing each other and don't know what the hell is going on outside of that, I wonder if Q and Toy are gonna figure it out first. I'm not confident, I'm just curious. All I can say is I hope that episode 7 clears the air between Q and Toy, because, yeah, I don't know how much more I can take. Like, Toy just looks like a sad puppy, and I want him to be happy. Like, I want his character to be happy. I think he deserves to be happy. So, that's all I have to say on this episode. And we're done. These fictional characters are really trying to ruin my life, and I'm gonna let them. I really am. I'm gonna let them do it. I just have a soft spot for handsome actors, and these BLs just have so many. So I'm not gonna stop watching them. Today's episode is sponsored by my parasocial friendship with Perth Nakun. I hope I said his last name right. But he is the BL actor from My Engineer. I haven't seen that, but I saw him in Cutie Pie. If you've seen it, he plays Jay, the club owner. I love him. I follow his YouTube channel and I watch his live streams from time to time. So today's episode is sponsored by his recent upload where he read the first chapter of 2 furry BL manga. I thoroughly enjoyed that video and I highly recommend it, and you should go check it out. And now I want to buy those manga. I'm not going to, because I have BL manga sitting on my shelf collecting dust that I need to read. And maybe you guys can inspire me and we'll have some special episodes on some of the manga that I read. Okay, enough brainstorming while recording. Thanks again for joining me for another episode, and I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Flushed. If you liked this episode, please leave a review. For drama recs or listener letters, please email them to blushpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, stay rosy, and I will see you next time.